I give you an answer?
Whatever you want.
All right, that will work for me. Anybody want to kick this off? Val. Huh? Oh, okay.
My name's Robert Lockhart. I just wanted to say hello for my parents, Barbara and Sam, because they kind of slightly know you and know your brother fairly well from Western Playhouse in Vermont. So,
oh, really?
Hello from them.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, next.
You've been a part of so many memorable roles over the years, and I just wanted to know what inspired you to become an actor?
Well, aside from having sort of a sense that there was nothing else I was going to be competent doing, I just, when I was in my early teens, at 12, 15, or as I was growing out of adolescence, I had a sense that, well, when I was in awkward situations, I'd find, and I wasn't very communicative, I didn't talk much, so, but I got the sense that if I amused people, I'd be safe. And so I started finding, and I didn't even think about it. I mean, it wasn't anything that went on in my head to any extent, but I just sensed that if I felt I was in a threatening situation, and whoever was threatening, I could amuse, I wasn't threatened anymore. So I guess somewhere down there, I started getting the idea that maybe I could do the same thing on the stage in some sort of fashion. And that's about all I'm going to say about that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I know it's impossible to
3
imagine.
weeks before it's shot, before the camera's just rehearsing. And so it was very well prepared. It was kind of one of my earlier films. I was honored to be working with a cast that was gathered, and you know, so many people have come up today, yesterday, to have pictures signed and remarked about how much they love Clue. So it's great that it's, you know, sustained. Yes.
Hi, I loved you as Doc Brown. And I had a question for you. Which was your favorite out of the 3 movies to do? Which was your favorite out of the 3 movies to do in Back to the Future?
I'm sorry, my favorite?
Out of the 3?
Oh, Back to the Futures? 3. It had a romance, and any of you who know my work overall, you'll notice that there's a real dearth of romantic role that I played. So that was a thrill, especially with Mary Steenburgen, who I kind of had a crush on for a while. So that was nice. It was a Western, so that meant riding horses, which is always kind of fun, and working on that steam engine. I don't know if any of you have ever been on a steam engine, but they're like a huge wild animal, and they're fascinating and wonderful to experience. And there was something else too. Romance, riding horses, working on the train. I'm leaving something out. And of course it was a Western, so you got all that stuff going, you know. Yeah, I'll think of it. Yeah, the Addams Family. There was every week a cartoon by Charles Addams in the magazine, which was always around the house. And Uncle Fester was, you know, from adolescence, was my favorite. I mean, he was so mischievous and slightly demonic and evil and all those things. And I just, you know, he just totally intrigued me. And then one day, some 30, 40 years later, I got a call to play Uncle Fester, And I was rather stunned because I don't look anything like him. Uncle Fester is a roly-poly guy with a round head and all that. And I just didn't see how that was going to work, but eventually with makeup and costume and walking around with knees bent under that cloak and everything, it worked out. But I just love the opportunity, having grown up with him, to be able to actually do it on the screen. It was a real kick in the ass.
This question is about Roger Rabbit. You know, technology changes so much over the years, and so if a movie like Roger Rabbit was made today, they may use some other technology like performance capture. Because of the year that it was made, looking back now, is there anything interesting about the process, specifically you guys interacting with cartoon characters that may even be funny now when you look at how they would probably do that today? Is there anything notable or funny about that, the interaction, the process you used to interact between the cartoon characters in that movie?
Yeah, they made dummies of all the cartoons, Roger Rabbit. And Roger Rabbit, they made this dummy Roger Rabbit, which stood about that high, and it had real weight. I mean, you had to, you know, use muscle to play with it. And there was people on the set, mimists, what do you call them, pantomists or whatever, that would teach us to practice and use, you know, like it was, you know, because in the shot there's nothing there. But we learned what muscles we used playing with a dummy. And and we just would practice that a lot and then shoot it without the dummy and go on from there. An interesting thing, like you say, today all that is technically done. Most of the film was shot in London, and it was this big kind of warehouse. And on each floor, it was like some kind of a cult society. On each floor were all, you know, cartoon artists from all over the world. And each had their own kind of cubicle. And each worked painted, you know, on one particular aspect of one frame. The old-fashioned way, the way the original Disney movies were done. And it was a fascinating place because these artists lived in that building, literally. I mean, I don't think they ever left. And it was strewn about all, you know, cartons of Chinese food and junk and beer and smoke. And it was a kind of a hellhole. You know, and all these strange people from Japan, from India, United States, everywhere had to gather to create the cartoons, you know, the visuals. And it was an extraordinary thing to see, which I may never see again.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Oh, he actually took my question. So.
Couldn't get a hold of it, you know, and which was kind of worrisome. And I realized that I was thinking of my oldest brother, who was 22 years older than I, who didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't do any mind-altering things whatsoever. He was a very conservative, kind of square guy, but he always had a look on his face, kind of, you know, like that. And I suddenly remember that look, and I found the part back again. So, you never know what your sources are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
I wish I could get out from behind this table, but the wires, anyway, it's okay, it's a minor thing, I'll get over it.
My question is, in My Favorite Martian, how